Welcome back, guys. We're continuing our talk on elbows. This week we're going to be talking about how we assess the elbow pain, how we treat a little bit, and then also different things we're looking for that could be causing the issue at the elbow itself. So we talked a little bit about last week, elbow pain that comes out of nowhere, no changes in recent events, no changes in typical activities. Typically is either coming from a neck problem or an actual elbow problem, because what's going on here can affect with the nerves that come out of the neck down the arm, can affect what's going on downstream. And for some people, that effect downstream happens to land right at the elbow. If there's a case of numbness and tingling with that stuff too, we know it's pretty much a home run. It's a neck problem until it's not anymore. It's most of the time we treat the neck and the actual elbow pain goes away. So if you've been having issues with some sustained elbow issues, be sure to watch. And I'll give you some things you can kind of check on your own at home and see if this helps. If it doesn't help, it's Instagram. I apologize. But what we're going to be doing, so history-wise, we're going to get a really good history of what's going on. Like we talked about last video, if there's been a recent change in activity, if there's been a recent increase or ramp up of activities, of increase in training, increase in speed, increase in load, increase in just daily life stuff, if there's been a decrease in sleep, if anything big has changed recently, we're going to definitely want to take that into account and think, okay, maybe there's something else going on. It's not just the joint of the elbow, not just the neck, can actually cause some stuff going on at the elbow itself. So that's what we're going to take into account first. Then we're going to get into the history. What does it hurt to do? What can you do, what can you not do, and all those kinds of things. And typically what we'll hear, especially with elbow stuff, especially on the back side of the elbow, and we discussed last time, this is technically anatomically, this side is the anterior or the front side of the elbow. This side is the back or the posterior. The posterior side will hurt back here on the wrist and elbow extensors. The inside will hurt here on the wrist and elbow and finger flexors right in through here. So these muscles that make our fingers go like this and our wrists go like this attach right up in through here. So what we will see a lot of times, we'll use baseball pitcher, for instance. Seasons, 4, 5, 6 weeks off. Person's getting ready, starting to throw a bunch of balls, starting to throw a bunch of, high speed stuff again. So that's a fairly large increase in training volume fairly quickly. We're going to start to see some stuff going on. We talked about the muscles that make you go like this and grip, attach right up and through here in one of the usual kind of typical 3 sore spots of the elbow. There's a spot right above the knobby, right below, the knobby part of the elbow that hurts, right on the knobby part of the elbow, or right above that as well. And that's all 3 spots are where muscles attach, and that can actually be sore and painful from those kind of things. So what we're going to look at with that person, first off, was there any numbness and tingling going on? Yes. We're going to assume it's the neck until proven otherwise. No, we're going to take a look at the neck, and if it's not the problem there, and that doesn't change anything, any of our baselines, any of our tests in the elbow, we're going to move on from there and test the elbow out itself. So what this will look like when we're moving, or actually doing our movement assessment of the neck, typically also if it's a neck problem, there'll be a harder time getting to the affected side. So if I have right elbow pain here, what this typically looks like in the absence or without any numbness or tingling, a lot of times the people will either not be able to turn and look towards that side as far, or won't be able to lean that side as far, or will have a lot of pain that sometimes actually does recreate the elbow pain when we go up and back with our neck. So if any of those are you probably don't have an elbow problem, you have a neck problem. So start working on your neck. If none of those seem to be that effective, we'll go through kind of a couple test treatments, and we'll do those movements kind of repeatedly, go back and retest our elbow and see how things are. If there's a big change in improvement, we're going to go after the neck. We're going to treat the neck until there's no more change in the elbow. And a lot of times, once there's no more change in the elbow, a lot of times the elbow pain's gone away. If this is a long-standing issue, sometimes it can be a neck problem and an elbow problem, and then we'll go after that. But some of the tests you can use first, and we talked about range of motion of the neck. So if the elbow pain's on this side, on the front side of the elbow or the outside of the elbow, first off, how is your turning side to side? Can you turn and fully look all the way towards the side that's sore and painful as well as you can the other? If yes, check. It's probably not the problem. Secondly, can you lean as far side to side as you can? And what's going on with the elbow? Yes or no? Everything's even. Probably good there. If you go back and go like this and you recreate your elbow pain, that's your elbow pain. You're going to work on getting back like that over and over and over throughout the day for a course of a couple weeks till you get that mobility back. If no, then we go on from there. Then we test the elbow out. How well does the elbow straighten out, first off? And how far can we get the elbow out straight? If we hold our arms out side to side, and if this is my affected side, and we go like this, you can kind of see on the video, if I'm doing this on purpose, if my right elbow isn't quite straightening it out of the way, there's something there. We might need to really work on that straightening ability of the elbow. If we try to straighten the arm out, and as we straighten out, a lot of times we'll see this hand will basically start to pronate, fancy term, but basically thumb will turn in or start to turn down. We know there's going to be a lot of tightness in the stuff that's right here on the front of the elbow. That's doing pretty good. We're going to move on from there. Can we recreate your elbow pain by fully bending or flexing that elbow? Yes or no? Can we fully recreate your elbow pain by pronating, turn the arm away, going like this, yes or no? And finally, if that's not doing it, we're going to see how well can your arm turn all the way up, fancy term supination, or then turn all the way down with the elbow bent, fancy term, again, pronation. And that's going to be our baseline testing for the elbow. So all the way out straight, all the way bent, all the way turned down, all the way turned up, and then variations of those as we go back and forth. Those are going to be our baseline testing. And then from there, we apply just a repeated movement to the elbow just to see if that starts to change things. A lot of times, we'll start to see some pretty rapid changes in results. Excuse me, as we start to move the elbow over and over and over itself. If that's not changing much, in that case, we know then we probably actually have a muscle or tendon issue, especially if there's been a change. A lot of times it'll be a huge increase in activity. That's going to be a little bit more of a actual tendon issue at the elbow itself. That's when we're going to really work on making sure that we're keeping everything calm, cool, and collected around there. We give the body some time to heal, adapt, and recover. We're going to do some easy exercises. Actually, I lied. They're not quite so easy. They actually hurt a little bit, and that hurt's actually good because that helps the body, basically helps that area heal up quite a bit. We basically, if it's an actual tendon problem, we make the tendon hurt a little bit. And over the course of about usually 6 to 12 weeks, kind of depending on severity, that tendon pain actually rebuilds, regenerates, and the pain itself goes away, and everything's great. The unfortunate things sometimes, depending on where we're at in season for the athlete, they don't always have time for that. So, but with like I said, the big key on this one for us is finding out the history, what's going on, any precluding things that kind of would cause it. Numbness and tingling. Is this a neck problem? Is this a shoulder problem? Is this a tendon problem? Is this an actual articular problem within the joint itself? Once we get that figured out, treatment's pretty much straightforward. But if you're not really figuring those out and you're just kind of randomly trying different things and basically taking a shot in the dark, some people it'll work, some people will make them worse, some people won't change anything at all. So if you're the people who makes it worse, it won't change anything at all, find a great clinician. If you're in the Kansas City area, we'd love to help you out. We like dealing with this kind of stuff. We've got a ton of different ways to treat these things. But the big thing is making sure you're able to work on this and treat this at home and get this moving better.